What's up, everybody? We are, as you know, having a lot more guests on the show this year, and I just want to bring everybody in and have awesome conversations. And I have been such a fan of All That Remains for a long time. And there's a lot of exciting things happening in the world of this band where they are currently working on a highly anticipated new record. I've gotten to hear a smidgen of this music, and I'm getting some real early All That Remains vibes right now. We're joined by Phil Labonte. You know him from All That Remains. And it's great to have you here. One of the great all-time greats of the metalcore era, I believe, and such a fan of your work. It's great to have you on, man. So how has it been going in the studio? I know it's been a long process for you, but it seems like you guys are really kind of buttoning things up at this point.
Yeah, so I'm real determined to get music out. I want it to be out by April. I want it to be out at the end of quarter one. So if I can get it out the last week of March, first week of April, um, to have our first single from the record come out. We're pretty sure we've selected it. Right now, I'm sitting in the one of the dressing rooms at Henson Sound in Los Angeles. It's a historyful place. I mean, Charlie Chaplin's lot is here. Studio A, they did We Are the World in. There's a bunch of boatload of records. They mixed the Black record here. They mixed the Chronic here. So I'm in this awesome place, with all this history. And this is our second trip here doing drums. We did 4 songs the first trip, and that was like in June. And now we're doing 4 more. And then we've got another session booked in March to finish up the drums. Um, and that should be the last of actual tracking. Everything should be done. We might have some odds and ends, like maybe some solo stuff, noodly stuff. But we should be done tracking by the middle of March, and that would mean the release of the first song end of March, beginning of April would be no problem. Then we'll have the record probably out in like June. We're looking at a tour in May into June because we've got some festivals that we lined up, and we're putting some other stuff together. So we're going to be busy this year. We're going to do some touring. We're going to have new music. And it has been a long time coming because, well, I mean, a million reasons, because of COVID, because we had some legal actions with our label. We're no longer on a label. We're self-releasing it. So we're self-financing, we're going to own it, which is a huge milestone. We had a great agreement with our label. They let us go without, we were supposed to have another record, but they let us go, and they let us venture out on our own, which is awesome. I super
Respect to
appreciate it.
them for
And
that.
yeah, got tons of love from that, for Fearless and Conquer Music Group and stuff, because they let us do our thing. And so that's awesome. And we're going to, get it out as soon as we can. We don't want to rush it. That's why, I mean, we started the sessions, like really the first time that I got together with Josh Wilbur, who's producing it. Josh Wilbur, you guys know from Trivium, from Lamb of God, from, a ton he's worked with us he did, The Order of Things. He produced that one. He mixed Victim of the New Disease. So we've got a lot of history with him, but he's here, and we started with him 2000, I think it was like 2021 is actually when we started with him. He came out the first time and started working on some riffs and some ideas. And then we got our first like real song together in February of last year, where I got with Josh and wrote lyrics for a song that, it was actually a song that Jason wrote the whole thing and kind of gave it to us. And so that'll probably be the first one. I'm not going to give out the name yet. But it's going to be a great debut for Jason Richardson. So.
Jason, what a monster player he is. I mean, talk about the element that he brings to the band. And, he's just one of the greats out there. It's just mind blowing the stuff he's able to do on guitar.
Yeah, I mean, so I've been doing, I've been in a professional band for a long, long time, and I've played with a lot of really great guitar players. I've played, with the guys in Killswitch. I played with the guys in Five Finger. Ollie and Mike are great guitar players. Like, we've toured with the guys in Unearth. Those guys are great. I mean, a ton of great guitar players. And Jason Richardson is like no one else. His technical ability is great. The thing that really, I think, impresses me the most is like when he's playing, every note is fretted properly and picked properly. So he doesn't have like kind of dead notes. He doesn't have like kind of where he just kind of hits the note in passing to get by it because he's moving so fast or whatever. All of the notes sing. Even if he's playing, 64th notes at 150 beats per minute or whatever, like every note is singing, every note is properly executed. And when you hear that, you know, for a whole guitar solo, like not a bad note in a whole guitar solo, it's impressive. His hands are like no one else, and he's super creative, so it's a ton of fun. And this being his debut with us, we wanted it to be right. Not only is it the first record that we've put out, without Ollie Herbert, which took us a long time to kind of get used to the idea and figure out what that means and what it looks like and all kinds of things that had to happen since Ollie passed away. But this being the first, song that Jason, or the first record that comes out with Jason, we want it to be right. There's not going to be any half-ass, on this at all. There's not any, deep cuts, like nothing at all. Like right now we're 8 songs in, and there's 0 deep cuts. There's like nothing. Like every single song that we've got, if we were like, if someone else was like, oh, let's put this one out as the first one, as the first single, like it'd be fine. That would work as a first single. And that's a big deal. Like usually you'll hear 3 or 4 songs or 5 and you're like, yeah, man, we got some killer songs in this record. We got 6 great songs, and there's 10 or 11 songs in the record, and you're like, yeah, these other ones are cool, but we didn't have the time to do with them what we wanted. They didn't quite come out the way we want, and the record label wants to have this many songs in the record, so we don't have time to blah, blah, blah. We've got a deadline, so you end up making compromises. And because we're doing it ourselves, putting it out ourselves, and we've got a career, and we're super fortunate that people still listen to our music, and we've still got people out there that support us, so we can take the time to deliver the record that fans deserve.
And I think that I think that you are going to have a lot of support behind this record, because I noticed from even posting, a clip of me talking about it in a recent video, people were in the comments just going nuts. Like, I can't wait for this. I hope it sounds like this album, etc. It's a lot to live up to, but it's also, from what I've heard, you're not kidding around about, there's some like first listen bangers, and it's really infectious music. You haven't really been on the road in a while. I don't think. I could be wrong about that. What festivals are y'all doing this year?
Oh, I forget. I don't have the stuff in front of me,
Yeah.
and I don't remember off the top of my head. And I'm a
But
little
it's been,
embarrassed. I should.
how long has it been, since you guys have been out on the road?
A year now. We did the Fall of
Yeah.
Ideals anniversary tour last year, and that was
Right.
from March until May. So, we did that, and before that, the last time we were on tour was 2019. We were supposed to do a tour in 2020. We were supposed to go out with Hell Yeah and
Can,
do that.
can you talk about
But
maybe any of the themes that you might be exploring on this record? Is it too early to reveal that? I don't want to pry too
oh, well, I mean, there's of course, all that remains has always got some songs where Phil's pining about some chick. So
much.
there's
Hell
there's
yeah.
that. Um, there's some reality in here. There's a lot of stuff that has happened in the world
Yeah.
since I put out a record last, since 2018 when Victim came out. Um, there's still, commies are still a problem, but that's that's a thing that happens. So there's some songs about that kind of stuff, but I mean, like, look, I've always written songs that are about things that I have experienced or I've seen in my life, or things that I've gone through, because the songs that you write that are about things that are the songs that people can relate to. If you're writing a story, unless you're a really good storyteller who knows the source material, it's tough to write stuff that people can relate to. At least in my opinion, you'll get stuff that people find interesting, but I don't think that you're writing songs that really hit home with people, at least not lyrically. And I personally find stuff that's compelling is stuff that I have lived through. When I'm writing lyrics, if I'm explaining something that happened, or I'm talking about something that happened in my life, usually the lyrics just kind of fall out, and then it's just a matter of getting it to kind of fit into the syllable space that we want, get the cadence right and stuff. Um, if you're trying to write something that you haven't experienced, well, well, what would this be like? And you end up a lot of pontificating and imaginary stuff. And I just don't, at least for me personally, and I'm not saying that there aren't artists out there that can do it. It's just for me personally, the stuff that I write isn't as compelling. So.
Well, I think that's so interesting. I wanted to say too, earlier or last year, you performed with Five Finger Death Punch. Phil, you're so versatile as a vocalist that you seem to be like everyone's speed dial for when they need someone to sing with them. What was that experience like, getting up there on stage and opening for freaking Metallica?
It was sick. It was weird, obviously. Like, it's a huge stage, and it's the whole circle thing, and like when I first got up there, I'm starting kind of doing my normal thing and like running. I'm like, whoa, this
It's
is
too long.
big. You can't run like this for an hour. Like I got
Yeah.
an hour to go, and I got to sing songs, and some of this stuff I'm not super sure if I remember how it goes. I'm gonna chill out here a little bit, but I mean, fortunately, the guys in Five Finger are all super professional, and of course, we've been friends for years and years and years and years. So they make it easy. It's like showing up when your homies are there. I'm not worried about like, oh, we going to get along, and are we going to be able to hang out? It's like, oh, what's up, homie? It's super chill. So it was awesome, and I'm super happy. Just like every other time that someone's called and said, "Hey, Phil, can you help us out?" It's super.
Phil Switch Engage.
Yeah, I mean it's humbling to be the guy that people call when they're like, "Hey, can you help us out?" and be able to actually, you know what I
Totally.
mean? It's like to be able to be like, "Yeah, dude, I can come out and I can give you a hand," and you guys are homies, and I love you guys, and so I can help out, and that's just something that's to me is really special. So I'm fortunate to be able to do that.
Well, it says a lot about your talent for them to ask you to do that, and then you repeatedly deliver, and then they ask you back again. So that's really cool, man.
It really is.
Phil, I really appreciate you doing this. I know you have to get going. I just wanted to bring you on for a few minutes here and just promo this album, preview this album. There's a lot of anticipation. I just want to check in with more artists when they're in the studio
Sure.
and maybe, kind of help build that anticipation for the record. But for those of you watching, we're going to have like a more full like go through the whole career podcast. We can get into that like metalcore era, which is so special to me. That those early 2000s vibes, like that was when I grew up in that whole era, and just such a great time. So I'm looking forward to having you on in much more long form. I appreciate you doing this. I know you're very busy. So
Thank
thank
you,
you so
sir.
much, brother. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Cheers.